Now we all have those days where our e-bikes feel a little bit slower, or maybe just that bit more effort to ride, or maybe they're just using a little bit more battery than usual. Here's a few things you might want to take a look at. Now first off, this one might sound a little bit crazy, but let's not forget that our e-bikes are going to be limited to their assisted top speed. That meaning 25 kilometers per hour here in the UK and Europe, and 32 kilometers per hour in the US and Canada. And it might just be that you're riding in some different terrain and working above that speed limiter. But let's look at some of the less common possibilities. Now, most big name manufacturers will have an app which allows you to connect your bike to your phone and adjust the motor settings. You'll be able to get in there and adjust things such as how much assist the motor will provide you with, how fast it accelerates, and the peak power that the motor supplies. It could be that someone has got in there and tinkered with and lowered your settings. In that instance, go back to the factory settings as a benchmark and work up from there. Peak power is how much juice the battery is supplying the motor, and adjusting the slider lower or higher will affect your ride massively. Think of more power as a bigger tube and less power as a thinner tube. Acceleration is pretty self-explanatory, and this will affect the speed that the bike gains speed from any given point. Motors that might have had their presets altered involves all of those which are adjustable. The new Bosch CX motor, all Evos and Canevos, Shimano EP8 motor and EP8 RS, Yamaha, Fazua and Panasonic. You just need to check with your local dealer if you need more information on this. And if you need more explanation of support and peak power, we've done 2 videos on these. Something else that's becoming increasingly more popular is manufacturers offering presets to their bikes. For example, on the Shimano EP8 bike, you have 2 presets, one for more range and less power, and one for more power with less range. However, some bike brands choose to have their own custom presets. For example, Nuke Proof tune down the level of assist in trail mode. So if you've never connected your bike to the app that connects to it, you're definitely missing out on a load of customization that you can do from the comfort of your own home, perhaps even in your armchair. Now, when it comes to adjusting speed and the power that you're taking from your bike, you definitely don't want to go crazy, because the more you take out, the more that battery is going to get drained down super quick. And when it comes to factory presets, we kind of stick around them. We might tweak them up a little bit, but if you just want to be safe, stick to those factory presets. Now, tyre choice is a massive subject when it comes to e-mountain biking, and they can definitely really affect the way that your bike rides and it handles, and it can affect its performance too. And one of those biggest things is going to be rolling resistance. Now, if you've got a big, heavy, thick sidewall tyre that weighs a ton and gives you a load of grip, yep, it will grip loads, but it's also going to roll really slowly. Now, this can affect the speed that you roll at, and also how much range that you get from your battery. So if you've recently swapped out tyres and have noticed a loss in speed and a loss in range that you're getting from your battery, then these are likely to be your culprits. And something that's just as important as tyre choice is going to be tyre pressures. Now, if your tyres are excessively low, say under 20 psi, then you're going to have a massive contact patch on the ground. And again, that is going to be really slow rolling. So you need to increase that pressure slightly, just to make sure you've got less contact patch and therefore a faster rolling tyre. But don't go crazy on this one. If you pump them up too hard, you're going to have a tiny contact patch, and that is really going to amplify all the vibrations that you get through from the trail back up to you. Now, we all know brakes slow us down, so anytime that your disc brake pads are in contact with your rotor, it is going to cause a slower turning wheel. And there's a few reasons your brakes might be rubbing. Now, it could be a misaligned caliper, meaning that one side of your brake pads is continually rubbing on your disc rotor and causing that slower turning wheel. So it's a really easy job. All you need to do is undo your brake caliper mounting bolts, hold the lever in, give the caliper a little wiggle, then keep that lever squeezed in whilst you re-tension the caliper. And that should see that that caliper is nice and centered and you've got a free spinning wheel. The other thing that it could be is a bent disc rotor. Now, this is normally, you're going to spin your wheel and you'll hear that brake disc just going on and off, rubbing as it goes round. Now, you need to look down into the caliper itself and find out which way the disc is bent. Now, there's plenty of tools on the market. You can straighten and realign that disc easy enough. And sometimes you can actually do this with your fingers. Just go careful as to where you're pushing on that disc. Another reason it could be rubbing is maybe you've been transporting your bike, say, in your car without the wheels in, and the lever's got knocked and it squeezes down the pad distance, meaning you could have a rubbing brake that way. Or sometimes brakes actually have a bike point adjustment. Now this might have been wound in too much and therefore you got that rubbing pad. Your e-mountain bike has the most power from its battery when it's fully charged to 100%. And it's quite normal for a battery when it starts getting down to its reserve levels to start lowering the assistance, particularly if you're in boost or turbo mode. When you're running really low on that battery and you're into your reserve battery, maybe your red light's flashing or you're down to your last 10%, it's quite normal for that battery to tell the motor to switch down to its least powerful power mode, probably going to be eco mode. The idea behind this is that it's the most economical way and hopefully going to get you home and not damage your battery too much. A neglected and uncared drivetrain is going to lose massive amounts of efficiency compared to one that is properly lubed up and cleaned before every single ride. Not to mention the uncared for drivetrain is literally going to eat all those components super quick. In fact, Doddy over on GMBN Tech has done a video where he compared a dirty chain compared to that nice clean lube chain and found it to be 17% less efficient than a properly cared for chain. And that's not including gunked up jockey wheels and bearings and things like that. That's probably going to be about 25% less efficient. And that's a big chunk of efficiency to be losing from your e-bike. Now the best way to keep on top of things is to keep it nice and clean and lubed up properly. Now last but not least is the issue of overheating your motor. Now this is a lot more common on the hub drive bikes rather than the mid-drive bikes these days. But if you are putting your e-bike under a load of stress on a very hot day up a very long climb, then you might notice a little bit of a drop in performance coming from your motor. Now if this happens to you, all you need to do is pull over, chill, enjoy the view for 5 or 10 minutes, let that motor cool down, and then get back on and smash that climb. So there you go, a bunch of reasons your e-mountain bike might be running slow or maybe using a bit more battery than it used to. Get involved in the comments box. Let us know if your mates messed around with your motor settings or maybe you swapped out for some tyres and lost a load of battery range. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to us here on EMBN and I shall see you in the next one.